This is Joy Foote. Welcome to Pine Mountain, then and now. A couple of weeks ago, I went to a presentation by Lou Brackett about the History Center's Pine Mountain, Chipley, Images of America book. One part of her discussion grabbed my full attention: the man-of-war train. I'll be honest, I didn't realize how special that train was or what it was like to ride it. Fancy train travel here in Pine Mountain? Who would have guessed? But once I heard the details, I knew I wanted to share them with you. So today, I'm going to paint you a picture of what it was like to ride aboard this train in the late 1940s and 1950s. We're hopping aboard the man-of-war. And if you're thinking that sounds like a racehorse, you'd be exactly right. Man-of-war was a thoroughbred born in 1917, and he became a true American sports legend, so famous that his name ended up on trains, products, and anything else that wanted to borrow a little of his shine. In an era when horse racing was one of the biggest forms of entertainment in the country, Man-of-War was the star. He won 20 of his 21 races. He never ran the Kentucky Derby, but he did win 2 other Triple Crown races, the Preakness and the Belmont, and by the time he retired, people were already calling him the greatest they'd ever seen. And he didn't fade away after racing. As a stud, he became hugely influential, and his most famous son, War Admiral, became a champion in his own right, so the legend kept going. But in Georgia, for a couple of decades in the middle of the 20th century, Man-of-War also meant, get your hat and gloves, we're riding to Atlanta. And our trip starts right here at home, back when Pine Mountain was still called Chipley, and the train depot was a real hub of town life. The depot sat right in the middle of what's now Highway 27, near the intersection of Harris Street. That's how central it was. From Chipley, the Central of Georgia Railway tied this community to the bigger world. You could head southwest toward Columbus or northeast toward Atlanta, and the Man-of-War was a streamlined passenger run between the two. Now picture this the way it would have felt back then. Late 1940s, early 1950s. The Man-of-War wasn't just any passenger train. It was streamlined, sleek for its time, and it launched regular service on June 24th, 1947. But the railroad didn't just put it up on the schedule and call it a day. A few days earlier in Columbus, it was officially christened, with Miss Columbus breaking a bottle of champagne for luck. And that launch date mattered because the Man-of-War didn't just run, it made an entrance with a little celebration, but more on that in a minute. Let me set the scene. Boarding day, 1947. There's a photo from the Railway Historical Society that shows passengers lined up and proudly posing before boarding that very first regular run in Columbus. I love that because today, when we're about to travel, we pack a snack and take a quick selfie while making sure our sweatpants stay out of frame. But back then, people dressed like they were headed for a magazine spread entitled Hat, Gloves, and Good Manners. The Man-of-War was made up of 4 stainless steel passenger cars, and yes, they were air-conditioned. You had your regular seating cars, plus one car that feels especially modern even now, a tavern/observation car. Inside, it was set up in sections, tables and seats up front, a bar and a pantry in the middle, and then an observation lounge at the rear where you could settle in and watch the countryside unspool behind you. And because the cars were connected for walk-through travel, you weren't stuck in one spot the whole ride. You could take your seat and then get up and move back to the lounge when you felt like stretching your legs or just soaking in the view. There were car stewards and a maid as part of the regular train crew. And in that tavern observation car, you could even eat meals on board. Imagine that. We'll be arriving in Atlanta later this morning, but first, would you like breakfast before the scenery glides past? And the railroad leaned into that sense of occasion. They didn't treat the man of war just like it was another passenger train. They treated it like a guest of honor, which is why, every year, they found ways to mark the date it rolled out and celebrate the man of war's birthday. And if you were on that inaugural run in 1947, the railroad kept track of you. Seriously, they made lists of names and addresses of first-day riders, basically an early version of thanks for subscribing, and later they even sent invitations to come back for birthday celebrations. Which leads to my favorite detail, the birthday cakes. And the Columbus Beauties. For the first few years, Man of War's birthday was celebrated on the train with cake. Not a metaphorical cake, an actual frosted centerpiece of the party cake. For the first birthday celebration on June 24th, 1948, there's a photo labeled Columbus Beauties, beauty pageant contestants helping with the festivities. Miss Columbus of 1948 is cutting the cake, flanked by her runners-up. And the mental image is priceless. Young women in bathing suits and nylons gathered around a birthday cake, on a train, with railroad executives standing nearby in suits and ties, like, yes, this is business. Very serious railroading is happening here. The caption even names some of the officials in the scene, a passenger traffic manager, a vice president of traffic, and others, which tells you exactly what this was, a publicity moment designed to travel. Because if you wanted attention in 1948, you didn't need social media. You needed a cake, a camera, and the right people in the frame. And the next few years kept the cake tradition going. Photos show different toppers over time, from a little Model E7 diesel to a miniature Man of War racehorse. They really knew how to throw a birthday party for a train. In the 1951 photo, Mayor Caldwell of Chipley, Georgia, makes an appearance. So yes, Pine Mountain, our Pine Mountain, pops up on the Man of War story in a cake photo at a train birthday party. The Historical Society also preserved a letter from 1951 that was sent to first-day riders, inviting them back for the train's 4th birthday. I love this. The message is basically, time flies, the train is doing great, and we'd love to have you on board. The letter estimates that in the first 4 years, the Man of War would carry about 580,000 passengers, well over 500,000. And then it gets even better. Riders were told to bring their first day certificate, or the letter itself, and the railroad would treat them as guests for any meals they have on board. So imagine being handed a little certificate that says, "Congratulations, you rode on day 1." And years later, you're still pulling it out like a backstage pass. That's right, I'm here for the birthday. Now, point me toward the cake. The Man of War lasted far longer than those early birthday parties, but passenger rail was changing fast in America, and its era was winding down. The final run came on May 16th, 1970. And all of this makes me think. A train that carried hundreds of thousands of passengers hosted birthday cakes and rolled through Georgia for decades, making one final trip with people aboard who might not have realized they were watching the end of something truly special. So the next time you drive the interstate to Atlanta, picture the alternative: dressing up, boarding a fancy train, settling into your seat, and maybe, if you timed it just right, being handed a slice of birthday cake on the way. And I'll be honest, I wish I could have ridden it. Just once. That's the Man of War, part transportation, part time capsule, and, at least for a few glorious years, part rolling birthday party. And if you want to see the pictures I mentioned, just check out my Facebook page, Pine Mountain Then and Now. This episode is brought to you by Chipley Cycle. If the Man o' War train has you dreaming about travel and a little vintage flair, you can chase that feeling right here at home on the Man o' War Trail, named for the train itself. Chipley Cycle offers bike sales, repairs, service, rentals, and guided trips, and you'll find them in historic downtown Pine Mountain, next to Wells Fargo. Chipley Cycle. Your ride, your adventure. Memorial Day weekend is basically Pine Mountain's unofficial kickoff to summer. And if you're looking for something to do, you've got options. Over at Callaway Gardens, the whole weekend is packed. The Masters Water Ski and Wakeboard Tournament is happening out on Robin Lake. And when the sun goes down, stick around. There are fireworks nightly over the water, starting around 9:15 p.m. Add in beachside live music at Robin Lake Beach, and you've got yourself a solid summer night. And on Saturday, there's a classic car show, perfect for strolling, snapping pictures, and picking a favorite. If you want to take the party out to the park, FDR State Park is hosting a Memorial Day pool splash on Saturday from 1 to 3 with poolside games and music with a local DJ. For details, schedules, and any updates, check CallawayGardens.com and gastateparks.org. Special thanks to Lou Brackett and the Central of Georgia Railway Historical Society, whose research and archives help bring the Man o' War train to life. The beautiful artwork and music for the show were provided by Silly Bug Studios. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you around town.